The silver-blue shimmer of the Andromeda Nebula bathed the human research vessel Halcyon as it floated in orbit around an uncharted exoplanet. Captain Mira Vance adjusted her visor, her breath shallow as she scanned the readouts from the external sensors. An inexplicable energy surge was emanating from the planet below, stable, rhythmic, and impossibly powerful. "Captain," came the clipped voice of Dr. Elias Core, the ship's lead physicist. "The signal frequency is increasing. It's as if it's responding to us." Mira frowned. "Responding how? Is this a communication attempt or something else?" Before Core could answer, a deafening alarm blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Harper Thorne's hands flew across the controls, his expression grim. "We've got incoming unknown vessels on an intercept course, 3 minutes to contact." Mira's heart pounded. "Defensive measures online. Broadcast standard first contact protocol." "No response," Thorne replied, his voice tight. On the main screen, 3 angular, obsidian black ships emerged from the planet's shadow. Their designs were alien yet terrifyingly efficient, bristling with weapons. The central ship's hull bore a sigil, a crown flanked by twin serpents. The Halcyon shook violently as an energy beam slammed into its shields. Sparks rained from overhead panels. "Shields at 60%, shouted Thorne. "We're not equipped for this kind of fight." Mira yelled, "Prepare for emergency warp." Before they could engage, a hologram materialized on the bridge, a towering alien figure clad in glimmering armor, her eyes like molten gold. The warrior queen's voice was a thunderclap. "Humans, you trespass on sovereign ground. Surrender or be annihilated." Mira stepped forward. "This is Captain Mira Vance of the United Earth vessel Halcyon. We mean no harm." Her words were cut off as another energy blast rocked the ship, sending crew members sprawling. The hologram flickered but remained. "The time for words has passed," the alien queen intoned. "Prepare to be judged." Mira's voice was steel. "Brace for impact. We're not going down without a fight." The Halcyon fired its meager weapons, the blasts barely scratching the alien ship's shields. Just as Mira ordered a desperate maneuver, the alien queen raised a hand. The attack ceased, but a new threat loomed. An energy field encapsulated the Halcyon, locking it in place. Captain Core gasped, his face pale. "The field, it's destabilizing our reactor. We have minutes before critical failure." Mira gritted her teeth, her mind racing for solutions. Then she saw it, an anomaly in the field's pattern. A chance, slim as it was. "Harper, plot a course through that gap," she commanded. "It's suicide," Harper protested. "It's our only shot," Mira snapped. The Halcyon surged forward, engines screaming. The alien ships pursued, unleashing a torrent of fire. With each impact, the ship's hull groaned as if in protest. They made it through the gap barely, but the Halcyon was crippled. The crew's relief was short-lived as a final blast struck the engine core. The ship drifted, powerless, toward the alien planet. "Brace for impact," Mira shouted as the surface loomed closer. The screen went black. The crew awoke to find themselves intact but stranded. The Halcyon had crash-landed in an endless, crystalline desert under a lavender sky. Alien spires loomed in the distance, pulsating with the same energy signature they'd detected earlier. Mira and her team worked to assess the damage. Core's voice broke the uneasy silence. "Captain, the field that dragged us down, it wasn't just a weapon. It was a test." "A test?" Mira echoed. Before Core could elaborate, a low hum filled the air. From the horizon marched a procession of alien warriors, their armor reflecting the planet's eerie light. At their center stood the queen, her molten eyes locked on Mira. "Human ingenuity amuses me," the queen said, her tone mocking, "but your defiance was futile." Mira stepped forward. "You shot us out of the sky. What more do you want?" "Your kind has intruded upon our sacred grounds," the queen said coldly. "You will prove your worth or perish." The crew was herded toward the spires, where they were forced into a massive arena. The ground shimmered with energy, and alien spectators filled the stands, their cheers an unsettling symphony. "This is no negotiation," Core murmured. "This is execution." The first trial began, a labyrinth of shifting walls and deadly traps. Mira and her team had no choice but to navigate it. The air was thick with tension as lasers sliced through the corridors. Missing them by inches, Harper, quick on his feet, disarmed a trap that nearly claimed Core. "Keep moving," Mira urged as the walls closed in behind them. At the end of the maze, they found themselves in a chamber filled with alien machinery. The Queen's voice echoed. "Activate the device. Prove your intelligence." Core studied the controls, his fingers trembling. "This technology, it's beyond us." "No, it's not," Mira said, her gaze steely. "Think outside the box. What's the one thing we can do that they can't?" Core hesitated, then reached for a simple tool, a human wrench, and jammed it into a gear. The machine roared to life. The Queen's expression faltered for the first time. "Impossible." As the chamber filled with light, the crew braced themselves, unsure if they had passed or failed. The next challenge was far worse. The crew was dropped into a simulated battle zone, facing projections of Earth's worst fears: monstrous invaders, catastrophic storms, and collapsing landscapes. The line between reality and illusion blurred. Mira scowled. "Then let's show them what humans are made of." Together, the crew fought their way through the nightmare, using not just their strength but their ingenuity. Mira rigged a trap with spare equipment, turning the illusions against each other. Harper overcame his fear, using his sharp aim to take out key targets. Core decoded the simulation's parameters, guiding them toward the exit. But just as they thought they'd succeeded, the Queen appeared, her molten gaze piercing. "You've survived, but survival is not enough." The arena shifted again, revealing the true heart of the trial, a massive crystalline core pulsing with energy. The Queen raised her hand, and the core began to overload. "This is your final test," she declared. "Prevent the detonation or perish with this planet." The crew scrambled into action, but the task was daunting. The core's mechanisms were incomprehensible, and the countdown was relentless. Mira made a critical decision. "Core, work on the core. Harper, cover him. I'll deal with her." She charged at the Queen, who met her head-on. Their fight was brutal, a clash of willpower and raw skill. Meanwhile, Core and Harper worked feverishly, their movements synchronized as seconds ticked away. The core's energy surged, and Mira shouted over the din, "We're out of time." Core hesitated, then activated a desperate, fail-safe, a rudimentary EMP device cobbled together from human tech. The core's energy sputtered, then stabilized. The Queen staggered, her expression a mix of shock and fury. "You did it!" The arena dissolved, and the crew found themselves back at the spires. The Queen stood before them, her warriors silent. "You've succeeded where countless others have failed," she said, her voice softer now. "Your species is more than I expected." Mira stepped forward, bloodied but unbroken. "We didn't come here to fight. We came to explore." The Queen studied her, then nodded. "Perhaps we were too hasty in our judgment. Your simple inventions, your adaptability are remarkable. You've shown that even the most unassuming tools can hold great power." A portal opened behind her, revealing the Halcyon fully restored. "Return to your world, humans. But know this, you've earned our respect and our watchful gaze." The crew boarded their ship, their spirits heavy but victorious. As the Halcyon lifted off, Core turned to Mira. "Do you think we'll ever see them again?" Mira glanced at the planet below, its spires glowing like embers. "I don't think they'll ever let us go." As the Halcyon disappeared into the stars, a quiet sense of triumph mingled with unease. They had survived, but what they'd unleashed had only just begun.